You're here with me today because you're a multi-passionate and creative intellectual, and being multi-passionate means you have many pieces and many ideas. Plus, life is always happening, and so what happens to people like us, I'll include myself, is the mind fuckery of doing it wrong, people getting mad at you, and not being really ready to do the thing happens, and it gets in the way. And I really want you to know you're not alone in this. And I'm here to remind you and to let you know that your iconic self can be reached in unconventional ways, which you'll learn about through this video series. And that you seeing you're awkward and you're quirky and all of your faults are actually your superpower. No bullshit. So if you're here because you see something in me that you want, like a part of my lifestyle, a part of maybe some of my clients, you can have it and it'll be in your authentic way. And in this short video series, you're going to feel hope, you're going to feel possibility, and you might even know what actions to take next. And you can live your own unconventional life in a feeling of belonging, the feeling of belonging that you've been craving. So here's who I attract, and the people I love working with the most are smart, like really sassily smart, intellectually smart, so you can think you're a know-it-all. Maybe sometimes you're passive aggressive because you feel bad about showing up how smart you actually are, and you're a little bit mad that people don't see that in you. And you've had successes in your life, maybe in academia or maybe in your self-expression, what you've done, what you've created, what you know you're capable of. So I'm so glad you're here. This unconventional icon method will have your life feeling unbelievably enchanted. You'll have spacious days. You'll have extra money in the bank to play with. You'll have clarity. And you'll know how to get to clarity on your own so that when you get to that weird stuck place, you know what's a priority, what to be organized, and you know how to feel good so you keep going. Pushing your personal edge is really important, and to not traumatize yourself by forcing yourself to show up, but getting out of indecision mode is the key there. So imagine honoring your sensitivities and deeply trusting that you can do this specific process, this method over and over so you never sink into the swamp. And no matter what comes your way, you will be able to strut that stage like an icon, right? You can't just disappear, and you can disappear, but if you disappear and you're mean to yourself, then it's not worth it. So listen. In this video series, it's okay to take breaks. It's crucial to rest and recharge, but I really want you to binge these videos. Watch them in one sitting. Get it going so that you're like, you know what? I could see myself doing this. So it's not about self-care as a general topic. There's pieces that you're gonna do that are about action, and then there's pieces about going inward. You're never gonna have to look outwards for solutions again once you learn this method. You're never going to be jumping from place to place. You're going to be like, I got this. In fact, I just used this method this morning, a part of this method, while I was sitting on the freaking toilet bowl. So you could do it anywhere. This isn't like, I have to sit in front of my computer. I have to be on a couch. This method will actually have you riding the waves of your needy moments like a fucking champion. So my version of an icon doesn't wait until they're feeling charismatic or motivated. That's too much pressure on yourself to be in the right place before you do anything. You're going to learn how to stop the fear whiplash that usually comes in when you have a great idea so you can get out of your own way. So, sensitive folks like ourselves don't feel comfortable with intensity. It's often too much. So when you're being seen, that stuff comes up. So whether you're looking for momentum or you're looking to be devoted to your truest and deepest self, or you're looking to actualize things in the world, those things can be halted when you're not sure what's next because it feels really intense. And that's where the consistency gets stopped. So I'm going to tell you about a woman. Her name is Perfectionist Peggy. And when I met her, she was talking about starting a podcast forever. And every time she got close to taking some action, something very important in her life created bad timing. So she smartly, very geniusly talks herself out, or had talked herself out of doing the podcast for some very valid reasons. Then she would meditate on it. She would push it off again. And she was truly uncomfortable for getting attention in her genius. Then she invested years and time of money into her self-development, and still she was stuck. So we worked together for 6 months. Then she returned after another 6 months. And now I want you to meet Punctual Peggy. She's not only running a podcast, but she figured she'd start a YouTube channel too, because it's kind of the same thing. And all these things created the confidence she needed, not only to meet a romantic partner, but she has that now. And all of the people in her family are looking at her like she is different, but there's something cool about her, and they're actually interested in her. So the shift that happens when you go from confused and frustrated to clear and curious, it impacts all areas of your life. So no matter what you're here watching for, like what's the main problem front and center, everything else is going to be impacted, because we are human beings and we're not segregated in ourselves. Our businesses, our creativity, our relationships, they're all a part of our lives. So it's not like, oh, I'm doing amazing in this area, but this area really sucks. Like, there's a harmony that flows in all of them. So I'm going to bring you to meet your inner child. You're going to get into your intimacy. You're going to seek within yourself to work with yourself so you can actualize what you want. You're going to have a foundation that you can bring with you wherever, whenever, and however your life is showing up for you. And you're going to transmit the feelings that are happening within you into creativity. So I also want you to meet Marinating Mary, and she came to me when she was freaking done marinating in her ideas. She was thinking and overthinking, and her underlying issue was she was not enough. She wasn't ready. And so she used this second stage of awkward alchemy, which you'll also hear, which paralyzed her from taking any action, from any creativity, from giving herself any credit. So she, fast forward, worked that into what she was bringing into the world through her conversations and through her creativity and her art. She's a filmmaker. So who am I to tell you all of this? Well, I'm Enchantress Shane. I'm kind of the show the fuck up expert. I'm also a trained behaviorist, and I'm helping people change their behavior so they can disrupt the patterns that keep them stuck and fucked. Is that you? I love smart and sensitive people, like I told you. And the truth is, I really love people who care and who love helping others. So if you really care so much about people in your life, about whether they're lovers or clients, and you stay up at night thinking how you can be a little more loving, a little more soft, and you can consider people's feelings, you're for you and you're for me. So I'm unconventional. I use methods that go beyond the land of logic, and you'll be working on your mindset, but not like in mindset work. And general self-care doesn't fucking cut it. And the temporary fixes that people are interested in and like seem like fun, but they're not as focused as they need to be for your neediest of parts. Like when your part is needy, you need a specific self-care for that part. If you have a needy part and you're like, I'll just get a massage, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to help you figure that out. So besides all the people I've coached since 2006, I was a preschool teacher. I was a behaviorist. That was my master's degree, and a therapist. And at the same time, I was a stripper. So I want to let you know that if I could be a preschool teacher and a stripper for 11 years, not like a one-night thing, that you don't have to choose one thing, that you could be multi-passionate, and I am a genius at helping people blend it all together. Because you're combining all the parts. That's what makes you interesting. So I'm not squeezing you into a method. I want you to know that. It's working to fit you. This method was developed while I was a teacher in a classroom and also giving lap dances. And then I worked with kids in prison for a while. And what I noticed was, on a soul level, On a soul level, we're all the same. We have different details, different stories, but this method is true and tested and tried in so many different areas. And it's going to be so good for you authentically that you might laugh and get a kick out of yourself, where in the past you were like stressed the fuck out. So people find me when they have a fire in them that's more like embers, and I'm here to like fan those flames and set them ablaze so that you can have win-win situations and overcome the limiting stories of all that stuff. It's playing small, not ready, doing it wrong, and living a life that actually doesn't feel exciting and you're kind of bored. Like, let's get rid of that shit. That is not the way we want to operate. Okay, so 3 months from now, I don't want you to be in the same place. I'm so freaking passionate about this. So instead of trying like do-it-yourself, fragmented attempts, signing on for free stuff or really low-end stuff where you don't get a lot of attention, stop that shit. I want you to jump forward gloriously with a little bit of trepidation and a little bit of excitement. And I'm going to pull back the layers of how this method can work for you. And I really want you to start to imagine and feel into it for yourself. So in the next video, you're going to hear about the first stage of this method. There are 3, where you're going to go from feeling chaos to curious about yourself. And it's the secret way of showing up so that when it's time to hide, you can actually see it as deep rest and without the worry or the fear that you didn't do the outward stuff enough. So that's really exciting, especially for people who overthink. So if you're an overthinker, let me say it again, you're in the right place. So opening the enchanted golden door is to relearn how to listen to yourself so you don't have that fear whiplash. Like when an idea comes to you and then all of a sudden you're like, but I'm no good with money and I don't have a foundation and I don't have a team. Like, that's not listening to yourself. That's listening to all the different parts, the fear voice, all the different voices that get in your way. And it causes this like whiplash of like, you're a fucking mess, and the end. So the result of the first stage in the next video is to learn how to take empowered, risk-taking choices. No actions, just choices in your head so you can organize and prioritize. I will see you over there. I'm so excited you're here, and binge on, my friend.